Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today I'll be playing another premiere draft of the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth. Without further ado, let's get into our Pack 1 Pick 1, and there are multiple incredible options at Rare and Uncommon, and they are all in black, which is super awkward. It's already a relatively heavily contested color in general in the format. It is the strongest color, and now no matter what we take, we're going to be passing either a Shelob Child of Ungoliant? I'm not even going to try anymore. The Mouth of Sauron and a Rise of the Witch King. We're going to be passing two of these things no matter what. So that's pretty awkward. I guess I could just take Rohirrim or Pelargir Survivor and just not even try to compete with the black drafters here, but I'm a really big fan of the Mouth of Sauron. I really love the 2-for-1 that it provides of getting a 3-4 body and an Orc Army all off one card, but maybe the Giant Spider's just better. I'll go for the Giant Spider here. Another thing that the Giant Spider has going for it is that we have the Pathfinder in green as well as other fixing, so that even if black becomes pretty heavily contested, which is quite likely, we can just try to splash in cards like the Gigantic Spider Demon. So here I could, if I wanted to, pass the Crebain just because I don't want to be fighting over black and I just want to try to splash in the spider. And instead I could take something like Boromir and try to be like green, white, splash black, or just take the Pathfinder and immediately get the fixing. But I think Dunlin Crebain is a strong enough card that it could be worth just taking here to go with the Spider Demon, maybe competing a little bit on black, and maybe at least I can just not pass whoever's on our left any more good black cards after that one pack there where I passed the Mouth of Sauron, the Rise of the Witch King. We'll see. I'm going to go for the Crebain here, but I could see an argument for Boromir. That would be the boldest pick, because if we take Boromir, we're definitely trying to do green, white, splash black. The safest pick would be the Pathfinder, since with the Giant Spider, we're definitely trying to play green, and with the Pathfinder, we can try to get the Spider into our deck without having to fight over black cards. And as you can see here, we're already having a bad time when it comes to fighting over black cards, because they're gone already. So we'll take Woe's Pathfinder here. Pretty much definitely. This pack's actually just really weak in general. The best cards are Pathfinder, Fire Leaper, I guess, but I've never been a very big fan of the Fire Leaper. And there's like an Oliphant and a Gwai here, which are fine. But I'm very happy to take Pathfinder there. I think most of those cards are pretty bad. Okay, now we do get a pick for Rise of the Witch King, which is a good sign. That means from the right, the green-black color pair might be doing okay. Probably do take the Rise of the Witch King here, because if I pass the people on our left 2 copies of the Rise of the Witch King, we might not just be competing over black cards. We might be competing for green and black, which could be a difficulty. I am passing a Grima Wormtongue by doing this, which is a solid black card, but it's not like a massive black signal. It's not an incredible card or anything. So I'll take the Rise of the Witch King here. And the earlier we get Rise of the Witch Kings, the quicker we can find synergies for it. We already have Dunlin Crebain, which is a great creature to sacrifice for it, but we can also now prioritize Land Cyclers highly, since those get into our graveyard nice and quickly to be reanimated by the Rise of the Witch King. Okay, nothing great in green, nothing great in black. We can take the Inherited Envelope for some splashing, since we're already doing the Pathfinder path of splashing things in. We could also take Protector of Gondor as the strongest card in the pack towards green, white, splash black, or Sam's Desperate Rescue as a decent value graveyard recursion spell in black. I think all 3 of these would be fine: Envelope, Protector, and Desperate Rescue. I guess since it would be our first Ring Tempt card, the Envelope would just be for the fixing, which is a lot weaker. I'll take the Desperate Rescue, but I'm not super pumped. Wow. Well, that's a pick 6 Theoden, but I have no red or white cards yet. If I had been speculating towards white with a couple Protector of Gondors, this would be a great moment to pivot. With double Protector of Gondor Theoden, we could get really started on a red-white deck. But then we're still passing somewhat of a red-white signal with Mary, even if that card is definitely significantly weaker. But I'm going to take the Generous Int here to really work with the Rise of the Witch King and get us some fixing. We could also take Torment of Golem. This is late for a Torment of Golem too, as a great discard spell. So really good stuff out of this pack. But with one Rise of the Witch King and the possibility of wheeling a second copy, I'm going to take Generous Ents and get some Land Cyclers in here. And we'll do it again with a second copy for our pick 7. Pick 8 now, I can take a Great Hall of the Citadel, and that's another way to help splash in the gigantic spider demon as well as any other legends we manage to find. Could also take Mirkwood Spider or Bag End Porter. These are fine filler creatures, but I'll take the Great Hall of the Citadel. Pick 9, we did not get Rise of the Witch King back, which is... that is alerts blaring, alarm bells. Someone is going green-black. This is going to be an issue when we're also going green-black. Pack 2, we're about to get some nonsense, so we need to be prepared to do some drastic measures, and we have Great Hall of the Citadel and Pathfinder to do so. Let's grab Wizard's Rockets as well. We need to be prepared to grab a different secondary color, and now Inherited Envelope can help us do that as well. I think we should still be okay to have green, probably. But we'll need a different secondary color. We need black to just be a splash, most likely. At least in terms of what we draft out of pack 2. That's a very late Pelargir Survivor, so I'm going to take that, even though it's unlikely to work out super well in our deck. Alright, pack 2, what do we have? Well... I mean, what are you going to do? The best card in this pack by a country mile is Claim the Precious, and everything else kind of sucks for our deck. Like, Pelargir Survivor is a good card, but it's not going to be good in green-blue. This is good in blue-black, blue-red, mainly. Yeah, Claim the Precious is just by far the best card we opened. Second best is Pelargir Survivor, which doesn't even work for our deck, and Flowering of the White Tree is probably third, which also isn't very good for our deck. That's incredibly awkward, because we're not trying to take a lot of black cards right now. We're trying to get off that color and use it as a splash. Okay, just Smite the Deathless to splash in, or Rohirrim. If we get enough Ring Tempting, that'll be pretty good. I think we look more like a grindy control deck than something that's trying to speedrun that ring. Yeah, I don't think we're consistently doing a lot of ring tempting, so Smite looks better to me. Maybe green-red splash black, potentially. Another Great Hall of the Citadel. Also another Generous Ents. That Rangers is good too. These three are all great. Don't have any 4-mana creatures yet. Could just take the Rangers. It's probably reasonable. I already have double Ent no matter what. And the Great Hall's only putting a Spider Demon in our deck right now. We're not finding other legends that are any good to splash in. Like Legolas is just not impressive off of a splash. Still an Easterling Vanguard pick 4. Alright, maybe I've been just doing too much mixed up Premier drafts. And I no longer know how to read signals in this format. And we're actually fine. Could just be green-black. I mean, yeah. Troll of Khazad-dûm to go with the Rise of the Witch King, or Grima still in black. Things are actually looking really okay, and another Rise of the Witch King? Okay, somebody took a Rise of the Witch King, and then maybe they got off of it, or maybe they're just splashing that in. But now it actually is kind of looking like we can just be 2-color still. Pathfinder, if I want to splash things in, is still great. Sting's alright. +1/+1 in Vigilance and Haste, basically. The First Strike happens sometimes, but it is kind of expensive to move it around. Sting would be an okay pick, but I'd rather take Pathfinder in case we want to do some splashing based on whatever we open. Alright, we're a double Rise of the Witch King deck with 4 land cyclers. We're doing the thing. Should be pretty fun. Take a Mirror Guardian for the 3-drop here. Revive the Shire. Don't think I'm playing it. I'm not going to splash in a Butterbur, though. I guess for now, since we don't have 23 cards yet, I should put in these nonsense cards to fill out the deck. We're at 18 out of 23 right now. I'm so ready to land cycle something and then sacrifice an Easterling Vanguard or a Dunlin Kerbane to a Rise of the Witch King and bring it back. It's going to be our main win condition. We're just going to try to cheat, basically, and play a 5-7 reach or a 6-5 that's super hard to block on turn 4. That is going to be the plan. This is Premier Draft, so we're just hoping to get lucky and just cheat our opponents out of the game, even if they have a better deck than us. If we have the Dream Draw, we can just demolish. Speaking of the Dream Draw, Horn of Gondor can single-handedly win a game. We need to have some more humans in our deck, ideally. That way our opponent can't just respond with instant speed removal, killing our 1 human token when we try to activate this. That way, if they do that and they stop it from working, we can still get another human out later. But I already have 3 humans, 4 humans at least. So yeah, we'll keep our eye out for more humans, but Horn of Gondor, while it isn't going to be nearly as strong as it would be in like red, white, or white, black, is still a busted card and going to be the best card of that pack for us. I'm really low on removal. I think I should take Lash of the Balrog over March from the Black Gate. This is a great aggressive card, and it's better the more amassing that you have. That way, if they blow up your army, you can still get a new one to start snowballing with. So since we don't have a ton of amass and we're not that aggressive, I think I'd rather just take Lash of the Balrog and make sure I have more removal. Haunt of the Dead Marshes is a nightmare elf. If that were a human, it would kind of be perfect, but I think it's still good here. There's also Oath of the Grey Host, which could be okay. I'd rather just take Haunt, though. I like the scrying, setting up our draws. That feels pretty good to me. Nice and early on the curve as well. Here's Woe's Pathfinder for another human and more mana ramp. Get to our mountain of 6 drops. Fall of Gil-galad. Strong card, and the only thing on color anyway. Scry 2, put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature, and then have a creature fight something, and if that creature dies, you get to draw 2 cards. So, a lot of solid value for just 2 mana. Elven Farsight, Shortcut to Mushrooms, just kind of bad. Frodo is splashable. Frodo's obviously not a human. Frodo's a hobbit, but still a good card in general. Yeah, I'll splash in a Frodo. Could end up playing the Great Hall now that we have 2 legends, one of which is off color. Still probably not. Great Hall deck. Although now I can just splash in a Strider, which is another human. I've got triple Woe's Pathfinder for a man of any color and Great Hall. Yeah, we'll take Strider. Get some random Great Hall nonsense in the end. Plus again, Envelope, triple Pathfinder, maybe even Shire Scarecrow. Towards the 1 red source we need, the 1 white source we need. This pack's just bad, so I'm just going to rare draft for some gems. Another Strider. Take that over another Inherited Envelope. Okay, I'm going to cut the Revive the Shires now. We've got more than enough cards. Now, I could play 1 Shire Terrace, 1 Plains, 1 Mountain. I'd rather do that than play 2 Inherited Envelopes. I'm not going to play any of these, so I'll rare draft the Uncommon. Then same deal, rare draft the Uncommon. Well, this is a human, but I don't want to splash in a 1-drop human. What does this even do? Nothing, basically. So the Ring Tempts You when it hits the board, but then during your end step, if one of your permanents left the battlefield, you get 1 +1/+1 counter. You have to constantly be sacking food tokens or trading creatures off to get value off of it. Another peek at the sideboard here, make sure there's nothing that needs to be in the main deck, but I'm sure there's not. Yeah, Revive the Shire's fine. Shortcut's pretty bad, Celeborn's pretty bad. Could Wizard's Rockets, but I don't think I'll need it with, again, the triple Pathfinder and everything going on here. So we just need to cut 2 cards to have a deck here. And with Arena still bugging out whenever you try to sort by creatures and non-creatures, I'm going to do it manually rather than with the search bar. Okay, I'm gonna play 17 lands here, I think, because I've got a lot of solid 4-drops I always want to have on turn 4, and if I don't land cycle these, I will have a lot of 6-drops to play, and hard casting those is still a solid way to try to end a game. So I don't think we're cutting any lands. We're going to keep 17 in here, even with the land cyclers. I've got 3 Pathfinders to find the off color. I've got a red source and a white source to find the Strider and the Frodo mana as well, and I could just run a Shire Scarecrow instead of having to play the Envelope, which I think is also fine. Again, not that Scarecrow is great, but we don't get any value by having the Ring Tempt Us in this deck because we're just not going to be doing it enough. So the 3 mana rock is just straight up a mana rock and nothing else, which is kind of a bummer. So, I mean, I guess we could just not even splash Frodo again because our ring bearing / ring temptation count is so low that Frodo's probably not going to have the ring tempt us too often. But we've got 3 other legends in this deck, so by himself, Frodo does get the ring to level 2 if you play another legend. Right, you don't have to play any other cards that specifically say the ring tempts you to do that. And level 2 is the only place you need, where Rangers helps with that. You know what? Maybe we actually are playing the Envelope over the Scarecrow, because I still have Frodo, Inherited Envelope, Mirror Guardian, Rangers, Claim the Precious, and Desperate Rescue. That's 6 individual cards that have the Ring Tempt Us, 2 of which do it repeatedly, the Rangers and Frodo. So that might be enough that it matters a little bit. So I could see cutting that out there. We cut a mountain for a green source for sure. In terms of the mana base, and then we just cut 1 more card. I could cut 1 of the Striders so I never have to worry about the legend rule, but I kind of want to keep both with Frodo in. Could cut the Haunt. I guess even if the ring only tempts us once, Frodo gets to just chip away and kill all their 1/1s. Because they're forced to block Frodo if they can. And Frodo as a ring bearer can only be blocked by 1-power creatures. Or less. So we could still use Frodo just to clear out 1/1s, I guess. Even if I don't have a ton of legends in here, so it might be reasonable to just cut a Strider. With less legends in here. I think this is fine. It's going to be a pretty interesting deck for sure. For sure. I might be happier with another Forest in this deck than another Great Hall. Because the Great Hall can cast 3 of our cards. Cast the Spider, the Strider, and the Frodo. So the fact that it's a colorless any other time is a pretty big downside. And we have 3 Pathfinder, 1 Envelope, 1 Shire Terrace to find a mountain or plains. I feel like just running a Forest over Great Hall is reasonable here. But then I think that's pretty much where we want to be. Another quick peek over everything, but I think I'm going to call it a deck here. Alright, here's a look at our deck list for today. We're a green-black deck at the core with a lot of good fixing for a couple splashes. We have 3 Woes Pathfinder and an Inherited Envelope to add a mana of any color in our deck. And that's going to let us get a Frodo and a Strider into this deck off of the splash. At the core of the deck, though, we have a decent curve of creatures with some expendable ones like Haunt the Dead Marshes, Easterling Vanguard, and Dunlin Kerbane. Plus, the triple Pathfinder, they ramp us up in mana early, but they do become expendable later. And with all of those expendable creatures, we can use our 2 copies of Rise of the Witch King to make our opponent sack a creature. and turn one of our expendable creatures into a previously land cycled Generous Ent or Troll of Khazad-dûm to try to get a quick, cheap victory if our opponent does not have a counterspell or removal spell at the right time. Just beat them down with a 6-drop nice and early. It's going to be one of our main routes to victory. But again, we've got some pretty solid, pretty powerful cards off of the splash, like the Strider. We've also got the big Spider Demon at the top of the curve. That's a huge win condition as well. We've got solid removal to deal with some of what our opponent's doing. Not a ton of it. The Rise of the Witch Kings, of course, they get to choose what they sacrifice, so that doesn't count too much when it comes to removal, but it helps a little bit. Then we have Lash of the Balrog, Claim the Precious, and Fall of Gil-galad. Then we also have one more bomb. This one will be a little harder for us to use since our human count is not super high, but if our opponent doesn't have cheap removal to kill the first token that our Horn of Gondor creates, we can still use this to absolutely overwhelm our opponent with just an infinite number of humans over time. This just becomes really big really quickly, and it allows you to just goldfish for the rest of the game. You can just play this on turn 3, and if they don't kill your human, just don't do anything but use the horn for the rest of the game. You can just be like, all right, now I have 2 1/1s, now I have 4, now I have 8. From that point on, how is your opponent going to win? You have 16. You're going to have to get outraced by some flying or unblockable creatures or something if they can't deal with the horn pretty early on there. So, yeah, pretty solid deck overall. Little bit of removal. Not quite as much removal as I'd want, but I think the fixing's pretty good for some decent splashes of Frodo and Strider. I think the curve is solid enough. We're going to be doing things throughout the game, and we've got some pretty explosive plays. Again, being able to reanimate a land cycler early can be a pretty explosive start to a game once we get to turn 4, and that can certainly be a win condition. And we've got 2 different bombs with the Spider Demon and the Horn of Gondor, so pretty solid looking stuff overall, but we'll have to see how it does as we head into the gameplay. Here we are for a definite keep in game 1. We've got the Generous Ent to turn into our forest, then we have the Pathfinder on turn 2 to ramp into a turn 3 Rangers and a turn 5 Spider Demon. And now I don't even have to cycle the Ent. I probably still should, but I don't have to. I am trying to hit 5 lands throughout this game to get to playing my Spider Demon, so I will force cycle the Ent immediately while I have the extra mana to do so. And we've got our Pathfinder down turn 2. Our opponent's on the play and they had a Pathfinder turn 2, so they're going to be doing a little better than us on that front. Here's a Horn of Gondor. I think I'm just curving out with my other stuff right now. Don't really want a Horn of Gondor for just a 1/1 without the ability to double it up yet. When I've got just a 4 mana 4/4 with a really good landfall trigger that I could play instead for now. Another Protector of Gondor. Our opponent is getting a wide board state here. Luckily, a 4/4 body's doing a real good job keeping us alive for now. I draw into a Rise of the Witch King, and that's going to be an interesting predicament here. I could cast it, but if I sack my Pathfinder, I'm at 4 mana instead of 5, which leaves me pretty far away from playing my Spider Demon. I do have another Generous Ent. I can cycle this to guarantee I have 6 mana next turn to play the Spider Demon. Forgot about the landfall trigger. I think I should have played Horn first and then played a land and made one of my 1/1s the Ring Bearer. I think that would have been better. But I think that is the line. We play the Horn because it's the only thing that I can play while still having the mana up to cycle the Ent. And I don't want to rise my Pathfinder away until I get my Spider Demon on the board. I guess I could have gone like just full mana efficient there and picked up a Generous Ent with a Sam's Desperate Rescue. And then just cycled that Ent during the end step. Let's do the Conies. No! Alright, well that's really bad, because now I do not have blocks. So we're going to take a lot of damage this turn, but they're out of cards in hand, so the Spider Demon is going to lock things up if we guarantee that we're casting it next turn. So we're going to need to land cycle the Generous Ent to guarantee that. So down to 11. And then our plan is to play the Spider Demon and just start using Horn of Gondor every turn from then on. Alright. They basically have to top deck removal here. So I block 2 creatures, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm super fine. I get a food token while I do it as well. If they top deck removal, we might be out of it, but if it's just like another creature or something, we're fine. So they play a land, set in the squad. Take 7. Get a food. And a 1/1 because I killed a Protector of Gondor, which is super good. I do have the mana to use Horn of Gondor and Rise of the Witch King. Barely. There'll be 3 blockers up though. I think I'm going to play it kind of safe here. Just make sure I have enough blockers, and I'm just going to eat a food for a turn. But next turn I'll pretty happily Rise of the Witch King after I Horn of Gondor into a million creatures on board. With 7 life instead of 4. Alright, yeah, this is going to be ridiculous, because now I don't even have to tap the Pathfinder to use the Rise of the Witch King. We get another food and a gigantic creature. Board state's good enough, they can't crack back. Just start sending the spider in. Another Pathfinder. Sending these 2. Next turn we have like 14 1/1s. Actually, I can play the Pathfinder before I use it as well and get even more, which is complete absurdity. Alright, they are going to kill the Generous Ents. Just chipping away at the board as you do. Could play Fall of Gilgalad, could play Sam's Desperate Rescue. But I don't need to play anything else to get this board lethal incredibly quickly. It's actually probably lethal right now because of Woe's Pathfinder's abilities being active. Just do this. And if I somehow don't lethal, I can just make 16 more 1/1s. 14 damage. They block with 2 things. I could trample over +3/+3 trample. It's an 11 power. That's 2, that's 9 plus 14. That's lethal. Death Touch trample is a hell of a drug. I only have to do 1 damage to each blocking creature, and boom. That is just game. Alright, so turns out that Shelob, the Child of Ungoliant, and the Horn of Gondor are atrociously busted magic cards. I don't know if any of you have heard that before. I don't know if I've said that before on this channel. I definitely have, multiple times. But, yeah, turns out that is the case. And we're going to start things off 1-0 as we head into Game 2. Here we are now for Game 2. Another keepable hand, Generous Ent putting in work today. That is 2 hands in a row. We needed that Ent for the green source. There's Horn of Gondor again. Speaking of cards that are putting in work today, I don't know how much it's going to do this game, but it did a lot last time. And our hand is loaded with humans. So probably does still put in work, unless they have a Fear Fire Foes or a Black Breath here to just clear out all our Pathfinders and our 1/1s from Horn in one fell swoop. Probably, because my hand is just full of humans, I probably do just want to go all out with Horn of Gondor instead of rolling out with the Dunlin Crebain. Although if I curve out in a way where I don't play the Horn until I have 6 mana, that'll still be pretty explosive, because I can just play Strider next turn and start beating down for like 5 a turn. That's probably better. I can easily get to the point where I have 6 mana, where I just go Strider this turn, next turn I go land Pathfinder, and then the turn after that I go Horn and activate it the turn I play it. And I don't even miss out on any creatures by doing that, because I'll still have 2 more humans from playing a Strider and playing a Pathfinder. So the first time I activate Horn of Gondor, it's going to be 4 more humans. Yeah, this should be pretty legit overall. Okay. So I've got 5 mana, so now I play Pathfinder and Crebain, and the next turn I just go Horn activate. Yep, everything's working out up the curve as I thought it would. It's actually even going better than I thought, because I totally forgot about the fact that I can just play Pathfinder and Crebain together this turn. Or I just didn't realize that math till now. But that's excellent. I want to tap the Pathfinder first immediately. There we go. Beautiful. I don't know, I guess I'm just worried they somehow have a split second card. Split second is a mechanic that makes it so nobody can do anything while it's on the stack. So if they had a split second -1/-1 removal spell on a Pathfinder, and I tapped without the Pathfinder, then they could split second kill it. That mechanic does not exist in Lord of the Rings. I'm fighting against demons you cannot see. Alright, Enraged Horn, 4/5 Tree Folk with Trample, and the Ring Tempts them, making the Mirror Guardian the Ring Bearer. If I trade into the Mirror Guardian, they now get to have a level 2 Ring Bearer, which is pretty good. They can put it on Crebain, but I have the 1/1 to trade into Crebain, so I will go ahead and trade off with the Guardian here. And then we just start trying to do Horn of Gondor things. They've got a pretty good aggressive curve, so I'm not sure Horn of Gondor is going to insta-win us the game here, but it's certainly going to take us from a position that we're losing to one that's at least even. I don't think I'm attacking anymore. I think I'm just sitting behind my Horn of Gondor. Just going to use this now while they're tapped out. I guess if they have a main deck Black Breath, it would have been better to not do it at sorcery speed. So if we do it at instant speed, we can at least get 1/1/1 from it. Since if they cast a Black Breath, Strider will still be on the board, but if they Black Breath us, we're going to die anyway. Even if I did Horn of Gondor during their turn after a Black Breath resolved. Black Breath, of course, the sorcery that gives everything -1/-1. everything we control -1/-1. They get to keep all the stuff they have. Okay, I want to keep as high of a human count as possible. But I also don't want to take this 4 damage, so I think I'm blocking with Strider and a 1/1 instead of 5 1/1s. I guess I could block with Strider and the Kerbane. But I want to have a Kerbane left behind in case they turn their Kerbane into a Ring Bearer. I don't want to insta-trade into it just in case they have like reanimation, they want to pick it up and recast it or something. But if it becomes a Ring Bearer, I need to have something that can kill it. Frodo is going to be the Ring Bearer instead, which is fine because I can just triple block Frodo. Could also block with 1/1/1 human and then give that human +3/+3. But with my Horn of Gondor going on, I probably just want to... Yep, there's the Desperate Rescue. I probably just want to trump Frodo every turn. Get 7 more 1/1s here. Yeah, is it better to get 7 1/1s or kill 1 Frodo? I think it's better to get 7 1/1s. Passing the turn, because if I attack with Kerbane, then when they play the Enraged Horn, they can just make their Kerbane the Ring Bearer and hit me for 4 in the sky that I can't stop. Alright, they are digging. They're going to sacrifice Frodo to a nasty end to draw 3. They are looking for some solutions to the Horn of Gondor. There's the Enraged Horn. Who would win, Horn of Gondor or Enraged Horn? They're just going to pass turn. We do the thingy. That's 12 of them. That's a number. 10 mana, not enough to activate a Pathfinder and a Horn yet. I'm 1 mana off from that, so let's just do an Envelope and activate a Horn. Alright, I get 14 1/1s next turn. So next turn I just attack all and kill them, I think. And if I don't kill them in one attack, I'll still have like 28 backup 1/1s. Because I get 14 now and then I get 28 during my main phase before I declare the attack. Or in response to their blocks before my creatures die. Send in the squad. Probably the desperation attack here. We're just going to kill everything we can at this point, because my number is more than high enough to still have an overwhelming board state after this. We're still going to have 21 backup 1/1s and attack with 21 creatures. Yeah, there is the concession. We are 2-0 now, just double Horn of Gondoring it up for our first 2 victories. And yeah, that card is very unfair. It's just like the colorless pack rat, just a ridiculous limited bomb. That probably would make the format more fun if it just didn't exist. So we are getting some cheap free victories. We're basically cheating, which was the premise of the deck, but we're not cheating the way I wanted to cheat with our Rise of the Witch Kings. But we've still got plenty more games to play, at least 3 more, even if I lose the next 3. So let's see if we can't find some victories with something outside of Horn of Gondor as we head into game number 3, undefeated. Here we are on the play for game 3. This is the worst mana we've had so far. We don't have any of our Pathfinders or anything for fixing. And I have a double black card that I'll have to cycle Troll to get to, and a white card I can't cast. I'm still gonna keep it, because Claim the Precious is castable off of this Troll. And we've got good late game, we just need to draw something for the early game. This is really close to a mulligan, though. There's a Rise of the Witch King, but I'm going to have to find a creature to sacrifice to that. Gotta draw something here. Uh-oh, we're against blue-red. Blue-red is a really hard matchup for these decks that are trying to resolve big, like, 6-drop creatures in the end game, which is definitely what our deck is trying to do. They could have some really easy solutions to that kind of stuff. Lots of counter spells that work excellently, and bounce spells that also work pretty great. Another Generosent. Alright, this Rise of the Witch King is going to be a bummer for sure. I could just claim the Precious the Survivor to slow them down. Think I'm just passing, though. An Athelian Kingfisher. A Birthday Escape. Draw a card and the Ring Tempts Them. Survivor putting in work, definitely finding the extra mana that turn. There's a Kerbane, which is beautiful. Because now I've got something to sack to a Rise of the Witch King. To bring back a Troll of Khazad-dûm. Or a Generosent, because I am going to cycle one of these to guarantee a 5th land turn 5. And I'll do it while I have the extra mana guaranteed. Bilbo's a really good card. When Bilbo enters or leaves the battlefield, the Ring tempts them, so they're at level 2 now. If I kill Bilbo, they'll be at level 3. If I kill Lancer, they'll be at level 3. If I kill both, they'll be all the way to level 4, where they're going to make me lose a bunch of life. And things are going to be a very bad time over here. Trade into a Kingfisher, let them draw a card. Be fine. I'm going to have a 5/7 reach soon enough. And a 1-power creature can block Ringbearer as well. That my other stuff can't. I'm very surprised they're not attacking with Rohirrim Lancer, because I can't block it at all. Because of the Menace and Ringbearer, I could only block it if I have 2 1-power creatures. So miss out on a loot and a damage there. Fall of Gil-galad is the draw. So I could claim and fall here. And I think I just want to Rise of the Witch King. Yeah, I mean, none of these are great targets for claim. Bilbo will be once they make Bilbo the Ringbearer, but even then they'll make something a level 4 Ringbearer after they do that. Yeah, we're gonna have some issues dealing with ring bearers. Yeah, so now Bilbo is a pretty big target for Claim the Precious, but I clear out Bilbo and then Pelargir Survivor becomes a level 4 ring bearer. Part of showing how strong Bilbo is, and now definitely showing off how terrible this matchup is for us. There's the bounce spell for our 6-drop. I expect we're going to have a really bad time anytime we get paired against blue-red. It's definitely how it's looking right now. Because they bounce our 6-drop plus make Bilbo a level 4 ring bearer. So we take 4 damage here, they get a treasure token, and they just get to make another creature their ring bearer again. I'm just going to cash in the Kerbane now. Because I'm taking 7 damage if I don't trade at this point. Still taking 5. I mean, yeah, Bilbo's kind of just wrecking us. With all the ring temptation alongside him. Rohirrim Lancer. Yep, that's definitely the part that's so filthy about Bilbo and Lancer and all these cards, is that like they're a really good ring bearer to where they're incredibly difficult to block profitably. So they just keep jamming in that damage. So they like force you to kill them, and then when you kill them, they just make another creature the ring bearer anyway, so you're still in a terrible spot. Oh, I mean, I'm just gonna go through the motions here. I'm pretty sure we're dead. Bilbo just moves the ring to the Lancer, and then the Lancer moves the ring to something else when I deal with that. If I deal with that. They have the Fiery Inscription down now, so every time they cast a spell, we're getting shot for another 2. They're just going to go for lethal this turn. They're already at 8 damage, they just need to cast 1 more spell now. And that'll do it. Oh, especially Gandalf Sanction, yikes. There's like the Dream Blue-Red deck, Bilbo, Sanction, and Inscription. The full shebang. We're going to be 2-1 there. As I said early on, I think that's just an archetype that's going to be a really bad matchup for our kind of deck, where we're playing 6-drops and Rise the Witch King combos and stuff. Bounce spells are incredible against us, counter spells are incredible against us, and those are both card types that blue-red decks use a lot. So I don't expect to be winning very many games against any blue-red decks, so kind of just gotta cross our fingers. Anytime we're paired up against a deck and we see an island and a mountain, Arena's kind of just already predetermined that match. Here we are on the play for game number 4. Keeping this primarily because of the Horn of Gondor. Obviously the mana looks pretty bad here color-wise. Because we have the rescue, I will cycle this Ent immediately, because I'm not going to want to cycle it after I scry 2. And alright, we found the black source. I think I'd still rather play the Fall right now. No, because if I play the Fall, I don't get any +1/+1 counters on anything. So I can instead, I can go Swamp Cycle here. And I can go Desperate Rescue for the turn. We see an island from our opponent. I already hate that, because blue is the best color against this deck. Technically, any blue deck can use counters and bounce spells. Blue-red is the one that's going to use the most of those. Let's grab the Swamp Cycler again, because I might need another black source if I draw into a Claim the Precious. And they're both kind of just as strong at 6 mana. Just casting them later. Alright, don't know what their second color is going to be. There's a Shire Terrace. We find the black source naturally. My hand doesn't have much of a choice but to just hope for the best off the Horn of Gondor. They shouldn't be able to have a counter spell that can counter it, but they could definitely have a bounce spell for the human token, or a removal spell for the human token off of another color. Actually, the bounce spell that costs 2 mana in this format only bounces non-tokens, so that wouldn't work. Well, we're against blue-red again, so that's a really bad sign. Our only hope here is they don't have the cheap interaction for the human. They probably will. But we activate a Horn of Gondor and pray. Actually, not even going to attack in here. If I activate it right now and they have a smite, they respond with smite and I get nothing. So I think I need to try to activate it during their end step. So worst case scenario, we soak up their mana. Worst case scenario, when they do smite during their end step, we tap them out of having like a 3 mana counter spell, like the double blue and 1 counter. We'll tax them their mana during their turn. And if it's the best case scenario and they don't have a response, then we'll have 4 1/1s during our turn. Alright. Seems pretty good. Got the mana to Fall of Gilgalad, scry 2, and use the horn again. I think I keep the white source for Frodo. I could see ditching it and just ditching all the lands here, but I feel like Frodo's reasonable. That'll be the second level of the ring. Yeah. And we're just gonna sit again, I think. I can't play around Fear Fire Foes or anything, so I'm just gonna use Horn right now. While we know we're getting 2 off of it. Because if I wait to Horn during their turn and they draw into a smite, they can smite in response, and then I only have 1 extra human off, so I'd have 2 after an instant speed removal spell. But since we know they didn't have an instant speed removal spell, if I Horn during our turn, we know we end up with 4, and then 1 instant speed removal spell puts us down to 3 instead of 1 human. Or 3 instead of 2 humans. Because there's no reason, there's no benefit of trying to do an instant speed now, because if they have something that gives everybody -1/-1 or does 1 damage to everybody, it's going to clear them out whether or not I have another trigger on the stack. Because the only way I could respond is while I have humans on board, so I can activate a Horn before their -1/-1 to everybody resolves, or before their 1 damage to everybody resolves, in which case I get all the new humans and then they all die. So let's drop Frodo. And I'm actually going to be a little greedy here. Unless they counter Frodo, then I don't have a choice. I was going to say, I'd be a little greedy here and put the ring onto the 3/3 human, because I already want to attack with it every turn anyway. Just to start getting my draw a card, discard a card. Eight humans? I think we're at a point we can attack with everybody. Even if I lose a human to a Deceive the Messenger. Okay, well I actually don't, because their army's tapped. I forgot about that. It doesn't make a 1/1 if they already have an army, it just makes the current army a little bigger. So we actually don't even lose a human to a Deceive. We still lose this game to a Fear Fire Foes, because they could do 3 to our 3/3 human and 1 to everybody else, but we're still in it against the Black Breath. It would become a much more even game if they have a Black Breath, which is -1/-1 to all our creatures. But Fear Fire Foes would just be we lose, pretty much, because then we just have a Troll and a Lash. Let's fight the Captain of Umbar, I guess. If they use a removal spell in response, then... Okay, it's not removal, so it'll still be on board. I was going to say we can Horn in response to that to make sure we still have as many humans as possible. Still going to be horning it up. But now we can just pass. Pretend we have instants. Next turn is the turn that we just go for it. Because our next attack will have 16 on board. We attack with 16 and hold 16 up on blocks. So they dig with Captain of Umbar. There's a Dunlin Kerbane. Solid card. Send in a 5/5. I'll take it here. And I might Lash that next turn. I'll have the mana to Lash and activate the Horn, so I probably will, since I won't even have to sack a creature to Lash. And I'm just going to use this before I even attack, so I know I have all 16 from it. I guess I don't need to Lash. I have freaking 16 1/1 blockers up. Snap, I guess I would have just killed them if I Lashed. I didn't do the math. So we should have Lashed the blocker, I guess. Whoop. If we get Fear Fire Foes out of the game, that is on us now. Did not do the math there. Mouth of Sauron is definitely not a Fear Fire Foes. So that is going to be the game. They get a 10/10 army, which is cool. But they are going to scoop them up. We are now 3-1. At least a 50-50 record with this deck, but every single win has been off of the back of Horn of Gondor. So I don't know how good you can feel about your deck when you only win with your super mega bomb rare, but I don't know, we got some more games to play. Hopefully we can, as I said before, get at least one win without the Horn of Gondor. We have played a game without the Horn of Gondor. We lost that game pretty handily. Hopefully we can win one. We'll see as we head into game number 6. Game number 5? Game number 5. Very bad at math. We're at 3 wins and 1 loss. That means this is number 5. And this is not a great keep. Because if they blow up my Pathfinder, I'm going to lose. If they bolt the bird, and they've got the bolt mana. Okay, now I won't lose, because I hit a land. So even if they kill Pathfinder, I can play an envelope. And we got the hookup. Mana-wise. So we can cast like whatever we draw into. We just need to draw into something. Frodo is something. Frodo is certainly something. Actually have perfect mana to play envelope and Frodo. Just make a juicy old Frodo here. Level 2 Ring Baron Frodo. There's a Swarming of Moria for an army and a treasure. Cannot block a battle-scarred goblin well. And that's going to remain the case for some time. So we need to find something off of Frodo. We got to do some digging. A swamp is not something. I guess it makes sure we have a black source without our mana dorks and mana rocks. But I don't even know if I want to play it or hold it to discard to Frodo. I probably just want to hold it. So we drop an Easterling Vanguard. Pass. Battle-scarred goblin. Deceptively good. in positions like this. Just sniping blockers for 1 damage is pretty rough. Oh no! Smog's coming. Smog will kill me very quickly. A 6/6 flying haste. That'll kill me in like 3 attacks. Because that would be hitting me for 18. Right, we're still digging. Since Vanguard can't block anyway, we might as well send it in. Find a Strider, that's a good one. I do enjoy that. That'll up the ring to level 3. Keep it on Frodo though, I think. Yeah, I don't know how we're going to beat a Smog. Unless we find one of our removal spells. Need to find a Lash or a Claim. Fall of Gil-galad would technically do it, but it's pretty slow. Alright, well that's bad. They had their removal for Frodo now. So we don't get to dig anymore. I guess I can. I could just Desperate Rescue Frodo and make something a level 4 Ring Bearer. Never mind. Totally forgot that Desperate Rescue will let the Ring tempt us, and that will be great. I could also Rise of the Witch King to reanimate Frodo. Which would also be fine. Some Mirkwood. Oh no. Oh, don't do it to me, opponent. Mirkwood Bats with Smog means if Smog dies, I die. If they have the Mirkwood Bats on board. Because then we lose 14 life. Oh, that sucks. That sucks so bad because we found the removal too, but now if I don't kill the bats, then I can't kill Smog, because if I kill Smog, then I die. I lose 14, but if I don't kill Smog, I also die, because I take 8 damage in the sky, 6 from Smog, 2 from bats. Oh, that is bad for me. What do we even do here? Try desperately to somehow outrace them, but I don't think it happens. And go like Rise of the Witch King. Like Rise of the Witch King, make them sack the army. So they have to take a bunch of damage or chump with bats, which they probably won't do. So we actually just get to hit them for 8 here. 8 damage from Strider. Because they're not going to chump block with Mirkwood Bats. So we just try to outrace Smog and the Mirkwood Bats with Strider. Yep, sack the army, bring back the Frodo. Make Strider the Ring Bearer, because Strider's coming in hot. And I'd like to have the mana up to do Desperate Rescue and Lash of the Balrog, potentially. Send in for 8 damage, draw a card, discard a card, find Haunt. It's a good one to find. I guess I don't really want to Desperate Rescue anything right now, so I could discard the Rescue instead and play Haunt, sack it to Lash. Kill the bats. That would probably be okay. I don't think I can wait for long game value when I'm about to get hit by Smog. Yeah, let's go for immediate impact here. This way I get to keep more creatures. kill the bats because I'm not going to be able to kill Smog if the bats are on the board anyway. And this will stop 3 damage. 2 in the sky, 1 from Smog just hitting the board, and it stops them from killing me by like removal spelling their own Smog or something. Take 8 and try to kill them on the crackback. Cross my fingers a lot. I've got 8 damage on board, but I have to be able to get it through somehow, which is going to be hard. Just find a forest, but we can draw another card off of Strider. I could have put a stop during my upkeep to bring back the Haunt during my upkeep to scry 1 before I drew, but then I only have 3 mana up for whatever I draw into, and I don't think there's a lot of 3 mana cards that'll win me the game here. No, there's none. Actually, no cards that single-handedly win me the game. We have to find, like, Claim the Precious, I guess. To kill Smog. And then I can survive. So if that's the case, I can afford to do this for Haunt, and then I go double black and 1. And Claim the Precious survives on Smog. Shelob doesn't survive. Generous Ent survives as a draw, though, and there's 3 Ents and 1 Claim. So I'm actually more likely to survive if I hold up 6 mana, because then there's 4 different outs the top card could be, versus Haunting and having it be 1 out that the top 2 cards could be. I don't know the math on that. I feel like 4 different outs for the top card is better than 2 different outs. Or sorry, 4 different outs for the top card is better than just having 1 out in the top 2. If that makes any sense. I don't know if it's making any sense. Alright, well, we found the giant spider, which is cool, but we are dead in the sky then. Bummer. Get smogged, fool. The really sad part is if they didn't have the bats, we could have killed the Smog, but since they had the bats, Smog just kills us immediately. Maybe they'll think that the spider has reach, because most spiders do. They did not think that the spider had reach. We're very dead. 3 and 2 it is, as we head into game number 6. Here we are now for game 6, another all-in on Horn of Gondor hand, but I think we're supposed to just go for it. Can definitely just lose the game to an early removal spell. But if they don't have it, we probably just win the game, and now we drew a human to go alongside it. I'm going to cycle one of these Ents to guarantee we hit the 4 mana for the Rangers. Oh, wow, Frodo's really good against the Horn of Gondor game plan. Now I don't even get to play the Horn of Gondor, because if I play it, Frodo forces the 1/1 to block. So I have to just wait till I play the Rangers and some other nonsense. Wait till I can lash Frodo. If I play Haunt, Frodo just kills Haunts. Frodo's actually really good against this hand, just all around. If I had another black source, I could just kill Frodo right now, but since Haunt can come back from the grave, I will just get the Scry here, since I think it is better than doing nothing. I do like having another human. Yeah, I'll draw into that. I can already guarantee that I have 5 mana thanks to this Generous Ents, and I only need to draw 1 more land to guarantee 6. I suppose the issue here is now I can't play the Rangers and confirm that I'll have 5 mana for Lash of the Balrog next turn. Would I rather play Rangers now, or play Vanguard and know that I have 5 mana next turn because I end cycle as well. I think I'd rather just know I can lash Frodo. Hobbit Sting? My Vanguard. That's actually extremely annoying because now I have to chump with the Amass token too. An annoying little man, Frodo is. Frodo is now a dead little man. It's a bag and porter. Cool. Some beef for sure. Drawn to a Rise of the Witch King. Well, I'm gonna have some 1/1s to sack to it soon. If I hit a land, I can play Rangers and Horn for 3 more humans, which would be awesome. Oh, Fear Fire Foes? It's not going to work how they want it to if I hit a land. I was going to say, I think they did that a little too early. Unless they have more instant speed removal and they can just kill the Rangers here. We'll see. Alright. Yeah, they kind of blew their load a little early there. If they waited, I would have played the Rangers and then they could have killed all my humans in one go. And then it would have been really hard to establish a Horn of Gondor plays again. I guess it's fair enough, though. I mean, Horn gets much worse the longer they wait. But Fear Fire Foes always clears out all of the 1/1s. And I guess I wouldn't have to play the Rangers if they didn't Fear Fire Foes. I could just make sure to always have that as a backup human, so it might not have mattered regardless. Also, I love how whenever somebody concedes while you're doing something, Arena just gets really confused to where it spent 2 mana to use the Horn of Gondor ability this turn. Right, because I spent 4 on the Rangers, and then I need 3 to use Horn of Gondor, but only spent 2 so far. Arena's kind of wild. But I suppose even if this Rangers died, we have a Rise of the Witch King. But I need to hit another creature of some kind, but then I can use any creature to get a human back, which is nice. So we had some backups there, but that was quick scoop. I guess they just have the 1 Fear Fire Foes. And maybe they've been Horn of Gondored one too many times, because the card is incredibly frustrating to play against. It is way too good, and it is single-handedly responsible for all 4 of our wins, proving that it's better to be skilled, proving that it's better to be lucky than skilled. We are 4-2 now, no matter what, pretty much breaking even, but we'll see if we can't get we'll see if we can't get a few more wins and be in the money today. Oh, hey there, friend. This is not going to be an interesting draft video, I can tell you that much. Again, it's not a 100% shot of victory every time. It's pretty likely. But our opponent could have the right responses at the right times and just completely shut off the Horn. But even if we lose this game, it is going to be like our 5th Horn game, which is not super interesting. Just hold all their mana up. Like to play some more humans, and I'd like to ideally get to 8 mana before I Horn, so we play the Pathfinder and cycle the Generosent. So now we have a human down. And I'll have 5 mana next turn, 6 mana the turn after. I guess I could play the Horn now while they're tapped out of the double blue counterspell. They'd have to kill 2 humans to stop it from working. I think I'm still just going to Rise of the Witch King, though, sacking a Haunt to the Dead Marshes while they're tapped out. This will be pretty good as well, and it should force them to... Well, that's pretty good. Deceive so they can sack a 1/1 instead of the survivor. But anyways, this should force them to use some kind of interaction during their turn to get rid of Generosent, which could leave them tapped out of dealing with Horn of Gondor. It doesn't force them to, but they do have to definitely consider it. If not during their turn, during our turn when we declare the attack. Gandalf the Grey, that is a tapped out opponent right there. I guess they've got 1 mana, but shouldn't be able to stop Horn of Gondor. Let us do the thing. Do this while they're tapped out. Guarantee I get 2 more humans. If they've got a Fear Fire Foes, they actually have enough mana to kill Generosent and the rest of my board. And even if they didn't, Gandalf could copy it. They've got a Fiery Inscription. So they're going to try to just machine gun us down with instants and sorceries. Get past our board state with that. There's Tormented Golem, that doesn't really matter. I can get rid of both my spells, but it's fine. Don't need these if the Horn's going to keep going. If they can't Fear Fire Foes or something. That would be super, super annoying if I didn't have a Horn of Gondor. That would probably just be game ending right there. Just completely devastating. But we had the Horn. So we still have a game plan. And now my Generosent attacks are significantly worse. So we're just going to be passing until I have the 7 mana. Oh, they're just going to tap it anyway? That is unnecessary, but they do want to scry 1 and draw a card. So fair enough. They could outrace us with enough cheap instants and sorceries to draw cards. Like I've said it before, but blue-red is definitely our worst matchup with a bunch of big dorks. We've got the Horn of Gondor here, so we might be able to win again just with Horn of Gondor being good, but if they can, again, like Fear Fire Foes or something, and just deal with the Horn, we've really got no other plan against blue-red. And even if they don't deal with Horn, they could outrace us. They've got quite the board state here. They are tapped out of any tricks, so trade 1/1/1 for Pelargir Survivor. Slows down our Horn a tiny bit, but that's okay with me. Grab the red source. Doesn't really matter, because we've got the Pathfinder. Look, and now it really doesn't matter, because we've got both anyway. Got the 7 mana for +3/+3 trample, if that ends up being something really good. There's no way that's better than just making more 1/1s, though. Yeah, there's no way that's better. Let's just make the 1/1s. Next turn, we start declaring the attacks. This is their final turn to have the fear. They've got a Soothing. Making Bilbo a ring bearer is very strong, for sure. Tap the Pathfinder. Bounce the Ents. Ring-bearing Bilbo means if I want to block and kill Bilbo, I lose 3 1/1s, which I really don't want to do right now. I'll do that next turn, but this turn's pretty pivotal. 14 1/1s versus 11's kind of a big difference, so I'll take the damage for the turn. It's just 1. They get a treasure, but I don't think they have enough cards that the treasure matters a lot. I guess with Quarrel's End it could. Because Quarrel's End, Gandalf goes back and then they redraw Gandalf. I guess even with the treasure, though, they don't have enough mana to recast Gandalf anyway. I am down to 8. I've got a food token, and they actually gave me another food by putting Ent back in my hand. I need to wait till I have 9 mana, but 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I do. Okay. Well, we have more food then. Thanks to the Ent mounts. Just do this pre-attacks. Attack with everybody, and then attack with everybody again next turn. Get another food. Block everything. So here's Gandalf. Send in Bilbo. Do they have the board wipe? They've got another Bilbo. They only have 2 mana left. Shouldn't be enough for a board wipe. Land for turn. That's game. We are now 5-2. 5 Horn of Gondor games and 5 victories for this deck. You know, sometimes you just have a bomb rare. 5-2 in the money. Very nice stuff as we head into round number 8. Here we are for game. This might be our worst Horn of Gondor opening hand because of the lack of a green source. I'm still going to keep it. I mean, you've seen the track record. You're pretty much supposed to keep the Horn of Gondor hands. But I also have the Scry to try to dig towards a green source. And we've got a lot in the deck. I think I have like 9 forests and 3... I have 8 forests and 3 forest cyclers. So I have 11... I basically have 11 green sources in this deck, so missing in the opener and the draw is super rough. There's Shire Terrace. I think we're on turn 5 Horn of Gondor again. So now I'm going to Shire Terrace for the green source, play a Woe's Pathfinder turn 4, and then turn 5 I can use Pathfinder to ramp into the Horn and make 2 1/1s immediately, and our opponent is just on natural 4 color over there. They don't have Aragorn, because they've got the mana for Aragorn, but they didn't cast anything. If I get counterspelled by a 4 color deck, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to be so sad if somehow Horn of Gondor gets like Saruman's Trickeried. Maybe they'll have like main deck Cast into the Fire or something to exile the Horn. I don't know what's going on over there. They probably have an Aragorn in their deck. They just didn't have one in their hand. That'd be reasonable. I could Generous Ent to get another forest, and then I've got a Rise of the Witch King play lined up. Yeah, get them to use some interaction before I try to do anything with Horn. Seems fine. Actually go for the Rise of the Witch King line here. And now I've drawn into another human, which is really nice to have. Are they going to kill both my creatures in response to this? If so, then I would say this would be better than playing the Horn would have been. This is kind of awkward because I sort of want to get the human back. I'm going to get the Generous Ent anyway. I guess I can rescue the human. That's reasonable. Then we just play Rangers and... what was Pathfinder next turn? I think that's fine. And then this gives us a legend until they deal with the Ent, so that I could reanimate the Haunt of the Dead Marshes as well. That one's not a human, it's just valuable to reanimate. Okay. I would rather play a couple humans and Horn next turn, I think. So let's send in the Ent and see what happens. I have no idea what's going on over there. They've got 6 mana up, they have 4 colors, 4 cards in hand, and they're not doing anything. So confused. Take the 5 damage. Drop a Pathfinder. Drop a Rangers. Are there any board wipes in this format? There's like a mythic rare board wipe. Oh, it's like Smite the Deathless style removal that's too small to deal with my big dorks. 6, I could Pathfinder or I could Horn for 2 dorks. Probably going to be Horning for 2 dorks. I mean, I'm putting them to 3 life already. I don't know what is happening this game. Okay. I'm guessing they were just on an Aragorn deck with a really bad draw. That was super weird. But hey, that's, what, 6 games that we drew Horn of Gondor and 6 games that we won. Horn of Gondor kind of had nothing to do with that win, though, because they were already dead on board without it. So I'll count that as a win without Horn of Gondor in spirit, even if technically we haven't won any games without casting Horn of Gondor. I should have kept it in my hand just so I could actually say that I won a game without it. But yeah, the Rise of the Witch King played pretty well, just getting an Ent down, but I guess Horn would have played well too. They did not really have a ton of interaction there. Maybe they had the Smite alongside the Rivalry and they could have cleared our whole board? But no, if they could have cleared our whole board, they would have, because that would have made it to where the Rise wouldn't even trigger, because we wouldn't have sacrificed a creature to reanimate something, so they drew the Smite later. Yeah, weird. They got to cast 3 spells all game, and that's just kind of what'll happen if one player only gets to cast 3 spells. So, weird stuff. Weird stuff for that game, but that is going to lead us to victory, and we're going to be 6-2 now, no matter what, very far in the money, as we head into the final boss, the final game of Magic for today, win or lose. Here we are for the final game of Magic. This hand is potentially kind of sketchy. A 4-lander is always right on that borderline where you've got a solid chance of flooding out. I'm not super happy to keep it, but the quality of the cards in hand is pretty high, especially after our 2 draws. We hit Plains Frodo, but we're against Black-Red, which is arguably the strongest archetype in the format, if not just one of them at least. And they've got a turn 2 Golem, which is one of the strongest cards in black. Really nice aggro dork. Great Ring Tempts You value as well. There's Mortar Muster for another great value play. I guess Frodo gets to just kill the army, though, if they don't kill Frodo. Yeah, so they're just going to lash Frodo immediately. Fair enough. Now we just drop a Kerbane and hope to find some kind of action throughout this game. They are black, red, and blue, the Grixis color pairs, the color trio for amassing armies. There's a Bewitching Leechcraft to put onto our army, which is kind of funny because it doesn't even like fully kill it. We still get another swing out of it. So that's cute. And then I could sack it to Lash of the Balrog, but don't think I want to Lash a Golem. And I'm close to having enough mana to just Lash for 5 mana anyway without sacrificing something in the future. There we go. Generous Scent's a good draw. Not so sure about Envelope. So I can just send in the team. I'll just send in the 1/1. I'll trade with Golem on blocks. And play Generous Ent next turn. I guess if I trade with Golem on blocks and they have another removal spell, I'm not going to get any +1/+1 counters from the Fall of Gil-galad. So that could be a thing. Alright, trade into an ambush is fine too, since the Kerbane did give us a 2-for-1. Force them to use a removal spell on the army that it made, and a combat trick on the Kerbane itself. So pretty good value. They might just have the counterspell here, hopefully not. Alright, they do not have the Glorious Gale, so Generous Ent resolves. Big tree folk is big. There's Sauron the Dark Lord. What is the ward? I have to sacrifice a legendary artifact or legendary creature, so I just cannot target Sauron at all. And it's gonna win the game handedly if I don't find a legendary artifact or creature. Because if I cast anything, they amass an army. When they hit me with the army, the ring tempts them, and when the ring tempts them, they can draw 4. Alright, well, that's bad. So I need to draw something that has the ring tempt us. Oh, snap. Wait a second. I think I should have just not fought. I don't even know if that's an option. It's probably an option to not fight. But yeah, now they can just discard their hand and draw 4, because Sauron's insane. Let me double check this. Up to 1 other target creature. Yeah, I should have just not fought anything. Well, I don't think it's gonna matter anyway. You just can't do anything here. I could play another Ent. Doesn't even get through Sauron though, until I have the mana for... That's incredibly annoying. Doesn't get through Sauron until I have the mana to buff Pathfinder, and it gives them an army when I do that, and then the army, if they make that a ring bearer, can hit me and start drawing them 4 cards a turn. So I just really didn't want them to have an army that wouldn't be summoning sick during their turn in case they could have the ring tempt them again. Again, I don't think it's really going to matter at all. Could maybe be making better lines here, but Sauron is literally unbeatable. We have to find a legendary card. Do have the mana now. I could start attacking with Ent, but if I attack with Ent, they let it through and then they crack back for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I think I'm still just holding Ent on blocks. I think our win con is straight up draw a legend and not... What is going on? They have another ambush for +1/+2 death touch. Ah, it's so annoying. I guess +1/+2 death touch would beat Pathfinder without them losing a creature. A 3/3 is still big enough to stop everything but Sauron. Oh, just nasty end. That's not as bad. Nazgul's pretty horrible. Casual 3 mana 2/3 death touch, draw 4. Make an unblockable Vanguard. There's some karmic justice right here. It would have been so much funnier if we are dying to a Horn of Gondor here. But it is still karmic justice to just get absolutely bombed out this game regardless. Yeah, none of these cards matter. Again, I've had a lot of really sloppy lines this game, but it hasn't amounted to anything. Changing these last few turns. If I did just slam down another Ent earlier, it actually would have meant that the Lash of the Balrog was gone, so I wouldn't even have a solution for Sauron if I found a legend. But at this point, Sauron's drawn them an extra 8 to 12 cards, if lost count. I think just 8 cards. Either way, this has been a 9 for 1 minimum. So even if we kill it now, it's pretty over. They're very far ahead. So we'll just go through our motions here. Maybe they'll get weirdly incredibly greedy and just completely forget that there is a deck size, and they'll just keep drawing for, and maybe they'll mill out eventually. It's a possibility. They're at 10 cards already, so if they choose to draw 4 again, then they're getting close. I highly doubt that they will, but that would be like our one shot. You know what? I mean, we'll just give them a 2/2 army. That's fine. Oh my god, I had that the whole time and forgot? Oh no, because the ring makes the legend wait. How long could I have done that? It's been a few turns, probably still been too late. Oh no, so I should have played Vanguard. I guess I didn't have enough black mana. No, with Pathfinder I did. I should have played Vanguard and then used Rescue to turn Vanguard into a legend, and then sacked that legend to Sauron's Ward ability. That was so loose. I don't know how I blanked on that. I've been playing too many mixed up Premier drafts. I am forgetting how Lord of the Rings works. Completely forgot about that legend thing. Well, sacking Generous Ent. It's too late at this point, but I guess I can still send a message, so whatever. I didn't realize this for so long that it's just too late at this point anyway. But obviously it would have been way better to sack like an Easterling Vanguard or something instead. But maybe if I realized that sooner, I still could have done something. I don't think I had Lash plus Claim in my hand at the same time until at least after they drew an extra 4 off of Sauron. So again, we'd still be really far behind. But maybe we could have had like a 10% chance of victory instead of a 1% like we have right now. They're still drawing extra cards, so I'm not going to say 0% chance of victory. They're down to 7 cards in library. But it's a very low shot. Yeah, it's just been a while since I played this format. I'm forgetting about the whole ring turning things into legends aspect. I need to be just aware of that at all times. It is 7:30 p.m. Why is somebody doing yard work right outside my window right now? Sorry, I'm just distracted. I'm easily distracted. We're dead on board with 3 blockers still, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, I go to 1, but basically dead on board. I'm just gonna scoop up there because game is over at that point, regardless. So we needed to If I saw that I could have made a ring bearer earlier with the Lash of the Balrog, we might have had, we definitely would have had a better chance there, but we might have had an actual shot at victory, clearing out the Sauron earlier before it drew too many extra cards. But I don't remember exactly when we drew the Sam's Desperate Rescue, but the play would have been the moment I drew Sam's Desperate Rescue, clear out the Sauron. So certainly could have played that one out better. I think our first two losses were pretty kind of predestined here. I don't think we really could have done anything about those, but maybe that last game we could have turned that into a victory, got a 7-win run here, but I'm still super happy to get a 6-win run. And this deck was a lot of fun. I mean, most of what we did, basically every game that we won, 5 of our 6 victories were kind of just single-handedly Horn of Gondor. So that's always a bit of a bummer to just be like, well, I mean, I played my bomb rare and I won. There's not much else to say about it. That's generally how things went, but we did get to do some fun Rise of the Witch King things with our Generous Ents, and that was pretty cool. We did get the Spider Demon. Game 1 is the only game that it really popped off, but Game 1, being able to have the Spider Demon really helping to stabilize us alongside the Horn of Gondor to start winning the game, that was nuts. So still got to do crazy stuff with that card, and while most of the time we were just doing Horn of Gondor things, to the point where even as absurd as this card is, it is our MVP of the day. So even though I already knew it was great, I still would call it the overperformer for today. But anyways, even though all we were doing was Horn of Gondor, we still got to play like everything else alongside it. We got to have the whole cheer squad alongside the Horn of Gondor. I think I cast pretty much every spell in my deck at least once, so that was pretty cool, pretty fun. Solid draft overall. We're going to get 1,800 gems and 5 packs for our prizes today, but that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you'd like to see some more videos like this, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link or the join button below. Other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.